Paul Guimond, I'm 32 from Moncton, New Brunswick, and this is my audition for Gillette Drafted Season 4 on the Score. Well, I would like to let you know that I'm happy to be tailgating on a Sunday in May, even though we're several months away from the football season, because to me, that's where the true fans really show their colors. And actually, Score, I'm surprised that you don't have a show that chronicles all the events of tailgating to encourage people to go to the game and experience it live, because you know what? They're missing out on a lot if they're not. Just want to put that out there. Also, I want to let you know that I'm eagerly anticipating the Oklahoma City-San Antonio game coming on this evening, because it features two of what I call the best role models in sports today, Kevin Durant and Tim Duncan. Two guys who have sat with their teams through thick and thin and built their teams from the ground up through the draft, not necessarily like a Boston or Miami, who have gone through the lengths of the free agency market and tried to steal the other assets of other teams to make themselves more formidable. So you have to admire the courage that these two guys have had, sticking with their guns, keeping with their teams, and making it all the way to the Western Finals. Either way, we'll have one from the West, old school, one from the East, new school, and I think that's Clay calling me. Let me get my phone. Yes, Clay. It's almost game time, buddy. Where are you? Oh, the wife and kids. Yeah. Okay. You can't make it. Okay. Yeah, I know the Broncos beat the Steelers in the Wild Card Game. You remind me every week. How could I forget? Yeah, I know they got Tebow. You, again, remind me every week, buddy. Okay, yeah, awesome. Maybe some other time. Excellent. Okay. Weird. So that's my friend Clay that I usually like to sit down and watch basketball with. As you can tell, he's a Broncos fan, and he's always been reminding me of the fact that the Broncos Tebowed the Steelers via one Timothy Richard Tebow on that January 8th evening. And when I go see my therapist, you know, you would think that the tormenting would stop. Everywhere I look, I seem to kind of have these visions of blue and orange, and all I see are Broncos everywhere I look. And she tells me to just kind of take a deep breath and really channel my inner power to funnel out these demons that seem to inhibit me. Well, you know what? I say, it's tough with all the Tebowing that goes around. I mean, the young people are doing it, and the old people are doing it. Everywhere I go, people are kind of caught up in this phase that is the Tebowing, and it just kind of bothers me that she doesn't quite understand it. So when I look back at that game, actually, and I think, you know, how is it possible that the Steelers, who were 9-point favorites, my beloved team from so many years, could succumb to such heroics from Tebow? Well, you know what? It all began with Prater. I think he was the culprit, because as you can see, this guy was the originator in the kick landing on that 20-yard line. So when I see Prater's, you know, initial divine intervention, if you want to call it, where he somehow summons this ball to the 20-yard line, I can't help but put my nerd glasses on and try to dig deeper, because all I could see when I looked at this game from that moment on was, how is this going to be a 3-16 theme? That's all Tebow ever talked about. It's all that seemed to resonate. So it led me to a final conclusion when I did see that last play where Demaryius Thomas catches that 80-yard touchdown play from Tebow, and it looks something like this. I still can't get over it after 100 times viewing it. So of course, as I sit and try to enjoy the dinner that I've haplessly prepared for myself because of this Sunday and getting into the tailgating mood, I can't really help but notice the fact that it all came down to this 14-49. 14-49, that's all I could think about. I'm a stubborn individual. I couldn't think of anything else. Thankfully, I had the day off, because generally when Steelers playoff games happen, I like to indulge in a little bit of courage-inducing beverages. So as luck would have it, I couldn't be consumed with that 316 theme any more than this number right here, which was simply taking 49 and dividing it by that 316. Now, I know you're looking at this number and you're thinking, you know what, Paul, you're probably crazy. Why would you sit there and take a number and try to divide it? Well, it goes back to my university upbringing where I did spend a little bit of time in mathematics, and I said, you know what, I just can't sleep, I might as well make something productive of my time. So if you remember that number, what I want to share with you are a few revelations that I think are pretty fascinating. For instance, the first numbers, 15, Tebow's number, pretty significant, anyone can see that. How about 50? 50 is the number of rushing yards that Tebow had in the entire game. Again, not a big coincidence, but still relevant. How about 63? If you take 14 and you add it to 49, you do get that 63. How about the fact that Thomas and Tebow are both 6 feet 3 inches? Again, a little bit bizarre, not until you get through the whole number. How about 29? If you remember in that video, Ryan Mundy, who is one of the better tacklers on the Steelers' #1 ranked defense, couldn't secure Thomas as he made his way to the end zone. How about the fact that the Broncos scored 29 points? Still a coincidence? Here we go. How about the fact that there was an 11 in that number? 11 seconds to win. Tebow's longest run was 11. How about the fact that Tebow had 11 incompletions? Still not convinced? The number's 39. How about the fact that the Broncos had 3.9 yards per rush? Again, one of their staples as they've made their way through the decade of the 2000s. How about 24? Well, the other player on the Steelers that was involved in that play, Ike Taylor, is also born on May 5th, which happens to be the last two numbers of that sequence. So when you sit there and you wonder how the Broncos also had multiples of 5, they had 55 plays, they rushed 10 times for 50 yards, they had 5 penalties for 30 yards, and they had 5 sacks. It really just kind of resounds the fact that there was something special about this game, and I really have the belief that it is the 316 game. So in conclusion, one of the things that I did learn with this game was the fact that I do have a desire to look deeper into the facts. And I know a lot of people will say they have the charisma, they have the personality, they have the looks. Great. But you know what? I'm willing to sit there with the 23 people that you can pin me against in the top 24. And as a matter of fact, I also want to do the best that I can for Gillette. And I promise you that I will shave my entire body with this smooth, sophisticated, technologically advanced razor if you do give me a chance. Thank you.